Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, unfortunately, remain little changed after the largest cryptocurrency by market cap saw its worst weekly performance since FTX's collapse. Joining us now to discuss the crypto markets is TheoTrade co-founder Don Kaufman. Welcome, Don.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
I should tell you that there is a movie named after your first name in India. It's called literally Don. But your assessment on Bitcoin's short-term price action right now, we've heard lots of these kind of assessments, but what is it that you're bringing to the table that's fresh, original, or new?
Yeah, there's a few things right now that are rather bothersome on the Bitcoin front. One is, of course, lack of participation. There's just no question about it. Obviously, we had a precipitous drop in the last 6 trading days, taking Bitcoin to roughly where it is. When I say, though, a lack of participation, it's a lack of market participants. Look, I'm a trader. That's what I live on. That's what I thrive on. I need that activity. And I'm not just referencing movement in the marketplace. One of the things that really, I think, was kind of unfolded, it opened up this door, if you will, is this large drop that we had showed that lack, if you will, of liquidity inside of that marketplace.
What's it going to take to get more participants, do you think?
So this is it's never I guess a wonderful topic to discuss. It's going to be regulation, and this is where a lot of the crypto enthusiasts don't necessarily want the Securities Exchange Commission all over them. They don't want the NFA, which is the National Futures Association, all over them. But long-term reality, they're coming. Whether you like it or not, regulators are coming to this marketplace. And there is absolutely a positive side to regulation of these products.
So I just want to add to what Jen was asking about. Let's just take 3 countries, right? The 3 most populated countries in the world. China, India is number 1, China 2, and the US is 3. And all 3 have basically said, well, we don't like crypto. We hate it. So where are the traders going to come from?
No, the traders are going to come from institutional. As soon as the SEC says thumbs up, you're a security, or the NFA actually steps in and says, no, it's a futures contract, institutional money management comes in right there. I mean, look, that's the background I come from. I had 15 years of brokerage experience on the retail side, running large brokers here in the U.S. So I am intimately familiar with, obviously, some of the legal recourse involved in this. But the moment they actually say, all right, regulators, we have a product, right? It makes it that much more stable. And we'll get market makers in there. We'll get more market participants. Right now, you're still in that stage where, crypto, it's the Wild West. No one necessarily trusts a lot of the firms heavily involved in it. I mean, wouldn't it make more sense to have, though, a brokerage firm where you can trade stocks, options, futures, crypto, all seamlessly off one front-end piece of technology? Right now, we're completely dislocated. We're all over the place. Look, if there's going to be platforms, trade everything at one place.
Yeah, but the question here is that, I think Jen was mentioning this in one of the previous shows, that the school of thought is that, wait, even if there are these spot Bitcoin applications that go through, or these ETF Ether applications that go through, the market may not necessarily react too positively. Yeah, sure, there'll be a short-term, fillip, but is it possible in your eyes that the market has already kind of factored it in?
So we're actually talking about 2 very different things. Number one is you're thinking about upside potential because firms like BlackRock are going to get, a Bitcoin-based ETF. That's actually not really my reference point. I'm not worried about necessarily going higher or lower just yet. What I'm actually referencing in this case is depth, it's liquidity, it's stability of a marketplace. Are there enough bids, enough offers out there? And I'll tell you without unequivocation that if you actually bring in a BlackRock that is going to obviously create an ETF, it immediately creates arbitrage opportunities back to Bitcoin, which ultimately stabilizes the product with market-making firms are going to come in. I mean, once big market-making firms like a Citadel step in to a BlackRock ETF, they're going to have to trade, Bitcoin itself, which again, it's going to be more stability to the marketplace that kind of triangulate these arbitrages. That's my bread and butter out there. And I got to tell you, that's exactly what I think I need at this point moving forward to be a trader more active in this market space.
You know, when BlackRock filed that ETF application, there was a lot of excitement, some speculation saying maybe BlackRock knows something, maybe they know what the regulators are looking for. There seemed to be a lot of discourse between the ETF applicants and the regulators, and now it seems to have gone quiet, and the SEC is delaying giving a decision on those applications. Are you hopeful that we'll see an ETF approval by the end of the year? Do you think that BlackRock maybe knows something that the rest of us doesn't?
First thing you want to know about major institutions, they know nothing, you know nothing. This is, though, a great opportunity. I mean, it's the first large institution that's been able to push through SEC regulation. And I would absolutely look for approval. And on that approval, you know, there's clearly going to be some volatility inside of the Bitcoin marketplace. But again, for me, it's less about that upside potential in Bitcoin. To me, it's much more about market stability. Let's get the market much more stable. Let's get more market participants. And a lot of people are not really familiar with how this works. But the moment you go in there to an ETF and institutions start investing in the ETF, the ETF creator has to go out and actually, you know, have something physically behind them. Well, that something physical is going to be Bitcoin itself. And again, there goes your trading activity. We start to build a marketplace. You've got bids, you've got offers. Next thing you know, they're going to be listing options on the Bitcoin ETF, and it's away we go. That's exactly what you want, though, in this marketplace.
So our colleague Shaurya wrote this story which reflected how XRP has lost nearly all gains made after Ripple Labs' partial courtroom win against the SEC back in July. There was another judgment after that which kind of overturned that. But is this due to bearish sentiment in the broader market or some other catalyst? What's your take?
Yeah, so overall, some bearish sentiment is obviously in play in a very, very large way here. But again, it's a marketplace where I don't think the participants per se feel very comfortable. That, and you also have to recognize, you know, the SEC, it's an incredible uphill battle. I mean, right now, when you look at the number of suits with the Securities and Exchange Commission, there's only a handful of institutions that are even going to be able to handle, you know, the magnitude of some of these suits. And again, BlackRock happens to be one of them. You know, obviously Coinbase happens to be one of them. But otherwise, it's few and far between. And some of the smaller tokens, SEC goes after them, they're going to get taken apart. I mean, they are systematically going to get dismantled by the Securities and Exchange Commission and starting to have to go through a number of appeals.
All right, Don, we are going to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me on.
That was TheoTrade co-founder Don Kaufman.